Welcome back to another episode of MyStory Unveiled with myself, Aaron Lee. Thank you for joining us here. It is my absolute pleasure this week to have one of my good friends, Max Fanali, with us. We're going to be jumping in, talking about what Max has been up to throughout his life so far, where he's at currently. So with no delay, let's get into it. Max Fanali.
Dude, thank you for having me, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Great guy. Appreciate you having me on. Spiritual. I always go to you when I have some questions about higher self, and I appreciate how you view things, bro. So I like being tapped in with you, bro. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope I haven't given you any guidance that's disrupted you.
No, not
you
at all.
Too bad, man.
Yeah. Any guidance I've gotten from you connected me to my higher self, I would say. So I appreciate that.
I do my best, man. I do my best, like try to always like uphold my own values, and like kind of my idea of just where I'm at in life, and always try to show up as the best person I can and encourage other people to do so as well. But no,
I appreciate it, bro.
You were like one of the people that I told the concept about the show to, one of the first few people. Yeah. And you were really enthusiastic about it, so I really appreciate that you were vibing with it and so willing to come on.
Dude.
And talk, dude. So
I support it, bro. I support anything creative, anything spiritual, anything about like any idea. I feel like when you told me about it, I was like, it's a great idea and this dude should do it, I think, and here we are.
Here we are, dude. That's just the power of manifestation.
Yeah.
Genuinely like putting, your thoughts into action, and kind of creating that energy and momentum to make things happen. So
dude,
it's like one of the messages that I get commonly from people when they like leave a little like outro message is they really encourage people to like follow your dreams and do something that matters to you. Follow your passions.
For sure.
And that requires a certain amount of like not only discipline, but just you've got to be proactive with it. And that's exactly what I've kind of done so far with this. And it's just rolling,
I like how you say 1, 2, 3, go. Don't second guess it. You know what I'm saying? You got the idea you feel in your heart and just jump into it, man. Because if I wait, me personally, bro, if I wait too long, if I have a creative idea or something in music or an idea for business, whatever it is, like my first initial thought is like usually right. But then I have these other blurts in my life that like in my mind, that's kind of like, it's creative. And then I think there's like a logic side of my brain or whatever. And there's like these things that I work on every day to try to not have control my decision making. But it's like, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, that's not good enough idea. Oh, you're too young, or you're too old, or you're too inexperienced, or you're not, doesn't sound good. Like, so I try to jump on things when I feel it right away. And I appreciate that you've done that with this. And like, I'm sure you're like that in all other areas of your life too, because otherwise I wouldn't rock with you.
I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it.
For sure.
All right, man. So let's like start at kind of like square one, dude.
Cool.
Who's Max Fanali? Give us a little bit of background info. Maybe like a little brief history of your life.
Brief history of my life. I got you.
Let's start in the early years, like where you're from, and like a little bit about like childhood and
For
stuff.
sure.
If you comfortable share.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, I'm from this area. I'm from Venice and Santa Monica, South Santa Monica area, the streets of Santa Monica. I was born and raised here. Family, good family. I think, lived 8 blocks away from the beach, skater. My dad's a musician. I was a baseball player. Pretty good kid growing up. Good childhood. I didn't really have a good example of how to like communicate. I think I don't want to blame my parents, but like when I would hang out with my friends, like we were kind of like this little misfits kids. And one thing that we had in common was like, at least that they all had in common was like they came from like kind of like broken homes, I guess, like divorced family, or mother passed or dad left, something like that. And my parents were the only ones still together, but like my parents weren't really communicating to each other, and like
Gotcha.
I think like the way that I found like connection was within that friend group, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So growing up in Santa Monica, I was like friends with the kids that were driving Beamers, and then also friends with the kids that were stealing stuff out of the Beamers. You know what I'm saying? So like I was able to fit in wherever. I played baseball. I got injured. That was like my path. I thought that was going to be a pro baseball player. I got injured. And then I started getting deeper into music, and I found like that it really healed like who I was and what I was going through and what I've been through. And like, it was kind of like an escape for me. And then I also started dabbling in like substances and to run away from stuff, like I lost a girl and the scholarship kind of like the same week. And that went on like, a few years of just like this spiral of like deeper into darker areas of my life, until I eventually came into like a 12-step program, and then like learned more about how to like fix that part of my life. And then I had some, experiences traveling like all over the world, like Israel, Spain, Paris. I've lived in Colorado, Texas, Virginia, like different parts of the US. And music was always like the foundation for me. I just don't know what I would do without like that creative outlet, you know?
I can definitely relate to that, just to jump in, because I think I
jump in.
mentioned it briefly in like my little interview that I did. First episode. I kind of talked about how music can act as like almost like a form of like therapy. And especially when you are starting to discover it, or you like are an expressive person.
Right.
And, you're writing music, or you're writing songs, and you're composing stuff.
Yeah.
I found that like at different times, whether I was dealing with a bad situation or a really like great situation, regardless of which side of, the energy scale I'm on.
Yeah.
I was writing some like really good stuff, and sometimes using music as like maybe a coping mechanism
for
some people, maybe like a form of therapy. Similar to how some people might abuse drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. Thankfully, I went through my time with that. Got through it. I'm 9 years sober, 9+ years sober.
Amazing, congrats.
Thanks, dude.
Wow.
But and I know we'll talk a little more as well about like recovery in a 12-step program you mentioned. But like music as a form of therapy, I've definitely like been there like with that myself.
Have you? So you were in a band, or like did that start here?
So with me, I got into music when I was in like my teenage years. And I had an opportunity to like tour, and that was like my goal. And I think most musicians' goals, it's like you want to make it to the top level, and you want to do the things that successful musicians do, which is, make good music, have a fan base, sell records, and like tour.
Tour with your friends.
And that's the idea of success for a lot of people.
For real.
And I got a little taste of that life and that lifestyle, and it served me well at one point. And that's the whole reason I came out to LA, because I believed that LA, if I have a chance of making it in the music industry, LA is going to be the place. It's always a pretty good music scene, successful bands, all the labels are here, quality of life, etc. But I moved out here, and to be honest, I really hit the ground like running. But I just got too caught up in like that whole like party scene. That was the downside. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to like touch and talk a little bit on like the challenges you face like as a musician, because it's glorified. The problem is that like a lot of these behaviors, like the sex, drugs, rock and roll lifestyle, like the partying, the drug use, it's fun up until a point,
for sure,
but it's very much like glorified within the industry. And it can have such a negative impact. People become addicts, people die, people become, like overdose and all sorts of crazy stuff, or become, you involved in codependent relationships, all this sort of stuff. So I don't know. Do you want to maybe touch on like like
on like my experience with that?
We could do
whatever you want. I mean, you said it, bro. Like, I relate exactly what you're saying. Like, I mean, I would tell you this. Like, I love love. I love drugs. and I love anything that takes me out of myself and gives me instant gratification, or like can switch the way I'm feeling, you know. And I, for the most part, most of my life, I just didn't like I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. Like I had social anxiety, drugs took that away. I had like trouble focusing in school. I had depression, I would say. I didn't know how to deal with like identity loss, I guess. I mentioned earlier, like I thought baseball was my identity. And anyway, so I would say that like for sure it's a very intertwined in certain pockets of music, and obviously like the mainstream scene in LA. And for sure I just remember like I just remember when I rolled, like I remember the first night I took a pill of Xanax, and I woke up the next morning, I had blacked out, and I woke up and I had rolled a spliff on my chest, and I forgot that I rolled it. It was like I threw like a surprise party for myself. It was like, cause I rolled it perfectly the way I wanted, but I forgot I rolled it. And I remember I smoked that in like kind of last night's pill, like re-kicked back in. It was raining. I put on like a Bob Marley documentary. I didn't go to school that day. And like the way I felt, it was like kind of like this I had arrived moment. And like that feeling was dangerous for me. And like that, like with music, I don't think I'm a better musician high. I think I'm a better musician high when I'm high. Like when I'm high, bro, my first thought is, it seems like a great thought because it shuts off that other part of my brain that's like has those, like I was mentioning earlier, those blurts, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not good enough. Like your first thought, at least for me, bro, when I'm creating, when I was high, my first thought was like, I would hear music different, and I would like be in like this different space and like very confident space. And when I was sober making music, a lot of that confidence was left until I did like a lot of work on myself. But it's very intertwined. It was very part of my identity, especially in this emo rap scene. And a lot of my friends in that scene are dead today or sober, and like I'm grateful that I'm still alive. Like I've gone to the other side a couple times, and I'm lucky to be here. And I think also my music has shifted because of that, you know, like a lot of the people I make music with are sober. I'm really grateful for that. And a lot of like the way I approach creativity now is like not from a dark place. It used to be from pain and like suffering and like, I'm going to kill myself if I don't make
trying
this.
to neutralize whatever was going on.
Yeah. And it was coming from like a place of like kind of, I wouldn't say anger, but just like pain. And it was working because that was what kind of shocked people with the lyrics or whatever in this like little scene. And I think now after doing like, I have almost 2 years clean, and after doing a bunch of work on myself, like the way that my relationship with music now is way different. Like it's not coming from a place.
It's funny,
like that.
dude. It's a big step, and it's often a almost like a very scary step to take that first step towards sobriety.
Yeah.
And like I don't know like the statistics, but I imagine that it's like more likely that people might relapse than not. I don't know how many people have done. Like,
I would say
one time I'm going cold turkey and never drank or did drugs again. Like my story is that I relapsed once and once only. And the thing that annoyed me the most about it is I was on a good track. Because, you know, when you do go to like AA and stuff like that, you get like little chips, 24 hours sober, 30 days sober. And I'd hit like 28 days. I was 2 days away from a chip. And a relapse, had like a really crappy situation, drank to just deal with it. And then the next day I was like, you're an idiot. Like, why'd you do that? Like you were so close. But, you know, I'm also someone who like, I don't necessarily like believe in like perfection. And it's like, it's just life. You're going to slip up here and there. But the main thing is you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you just make that move back, you know, towards like going in a positive direction. And that's what I was encouraged to do. And as kind of almost embarrassed as I was to step back into say like an AA meeting, put my hand up and say like, hey, I screwed up, I relapsed. I think that they'd heard it more times than not. So it was like nothing new. You know, I was hanging my head kind of in shame, embarrassed. But the best thing I did was get back in there soon Because one thing that stuck in my mind that one person said was the longer you're out of those environments to help keep you sober or away from practices and disciplines, the more chance you've got of not getting sober or just, you know, reconnecting to that addictive lifestyle. So I relapsed after 28 days, told myself, right, I'm going to have one relapse and one relapse only. And that's been my story up until now. And now like almost like 9.5 years, so I'm almost at like a decade.
It's crazy.
Decade in. Congratulations to you too on like the 2 years.
Thank you, appreciate that.
But that's crazy. So I wanted to ask you a little bit as well, because I know you mentioned like the whole baseball thing. You were super passionate about baseball. What was it that kind of slowed that down? And then was it like a natural transition into like music?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I would just say, so, I mean, music and baseball were always like a part of my life. My dad's a musician, plays saxophone, Motown. I grew up on Motown, and I remember like since I was like probably 3, like the way that music made me feel like I couldn't not move when I heard it, you know? And I was always I was like, baseball I had a direct like path that I could see. Like, I need to do this, show up here, work out here, pitch well here, next game, and like things were progressing, and I had a direct path I could see in a dream. And I never thought that like music would be like the number one thing. I just remember though the way that like kind of baseball made me feel. It was like a distraction when I was like on the field, but the off the field stuff, it wasn't like enough for me at the time to like, it didn't like, because I couldn't access that. I couldn't play in a game 24/7. You know, I can listen to music whenever I want. I could create something whenever I want. I loved the camaraderie and the teammates. Like it was like a family. But when I got injured, like that was kind of a turning point for me. And I should have got surgery, but I wasn't allowed to make the decision because I was under 18. And it wasn't a full tear in my arm.
Did that affect you pitching?
So it affected my opportunity to play in college for a year, and then also like pitching.
That's a crucial time as well, because
right
that's
before,
where people are scouting pretty much.
Dude, I had like opportunities, and I lost them because of that injury. And they said if I get in academically, I could play, but I didn't get into those schools academically. I was like a 3.0 average kid, you know? Anyway, my point is, in high school, I was still, you know, like I would go to like In and Out on a Friday night with my friends. We'd smoke weed and freestyle in the car. And that was like my connection with music. I remember DJing my homecoming in 10th grade. And I was like looking always for the perfect song, like to satisfy my ears. And I couldn't find it. I could find bits and pieces. I remember like some Kid Cudi song would be like, I've never heard anything like this. And then some like other song, I'd try to be like, all right, like let me take these two together. Or let me figure this out. And I was DJing, and people liked my taste in music. Like whenever I was in the car, they'd be like, yo, Max, like here's the aux. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, okay, thank you, bro. Like I'll play music, you know? But, and I realized that like if I'm looking for the perfect song and people really like my taste in music, why don't I just make one? Like why don't I just make a song? So that's how it started. And I made like this mixtape with my friend in high school, and we like sampled a bunch of like classic rock licks and like some like pop licks, and like it was just like kind of like this time where it was like, I mean, Kanye was rocking, really, like, you know, I remember 808s and Heartbreaks was like my favorite. And I remember being on the search for the perfect song, and I started making music, and my friends were like, bro, you should actually do this. Like, you should actually do this, because like people in my circle were like listening to the song. And like that moment I was listening to like, I think like The Weeknd was coming out, Raider Clan, Space Ghost Perp, and like that whole scene, and like ASAP Rocky was not short after that. And like and I was just like, and I was learning, like I didn't have baseball, you know, so I had that, and I took a year off before I went to Santa Barbara to play. And I was in Santa Monica going to SMC, like heartbroken over the girl and the baseball, and I turned to music, and you know, I started smoking, and then I started like falling in love more with like the way I felt after I made a song and listened to it the next morning. And like that high was like so powerful for me. Like I needed to like share that with everyone.
Yeah,
like I felt like I'd gone to a place that no one had been before, and I needed you to see it. You know what I'm saying?
That resonates hard with me because like, I've been making music since like I don't know, maybe I was about like 16, 17. Used to record like just acoustic songs. Then from there, was in rock bands. And it gives you a sense of confidence, confidence and belief. I don't think it's necessarily like arrogance and feeding your ego in a negative way, but there's something about when you were in a studio and producing stuff, and maybe you just get the instrumental part down. You're so like pumped to see this creation come into life. You know? And it's not even the final polished product, but it fills you, dude, with like such good energy. And I think that's I think that's like very important for artists.
I agree.
You got to believe in your own work as well. You know?
I feel like I love that you said the confidence thing. For me, it was like that, but it was mostly like I had this thing in my mind and my heart that I was I was hearing, and I had such a love and trust in my ear, which I was really lucky to have. Like, and I always can trust my ear, and I don't know if that's from like my friends or my dad or like just from experience with picking certain things. And I just grew to be like, okay, Max, like this idea in your head is going to be good. Like trust it. And like in that, and I had to get it out. So it was like a release for me as well as like the confidence thing. And I feel like if I don't create and work on music, like even after like, if I take a week off, I start to get antsy, you know what I'm saying? And now it's the same with like spiritual work and like some meetings. I still go to meetings, you know what I'm saying? So like if I don't do certain things to like keep myself like grounded on those planes, like emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, like I start to like get a little bit crispy, you know what I'm saying? And the music, I noticed that first, and I'm sure you feel that way with music or creative stuff, and like I'm sure a lot of musicians feel that way, but I'm like, I don't know, if I didn't have that, bro, I'd probably be dead. Like, so I'm grateful. I want to honor that for the rest of my life, for sure. Yeah,
dude, it's interesting. I've been through so many different waves. Like I've been a musician as a teenager. I've been a musician as an addict. I've been a musician through just crazy times. I've been a musician now through like sober eyes. And, you know, right when I thought I was writing my masterpieces, probably at the heart of my addiction, like similar to you, I had a good ear and I trusted that I was a good enough songwriter to write good stuff. However, it wasn't till after I got sober and I could like, you know, create through a more like clear channel that I really think like my best and better and more mature work came like later and now, you know. But it's interesting, going back to something you said earlier about, you know, you think like when you're high and stuff, like it sounds great, or when I was writing songs like drunk, or while I was like, you know, really consuming a lot of alcohol and stuff. But like the reality is now I think back and I'm like, maybe that's the best I could do at that time. But I'm almost embarrassed to like listen to the stuff, because I was a whole other person though as well. We change, we evolve.
For sure.
Our energy changes, and what I was doing 15 years ago is not the same stuff I would do now, because I don't even connect with that individual who I was then. You know. No,
for sure. No, I don't think that my music was better when I was high. I think that I thought that it was. You understand? That's what I mean. Like I know it wasn't. I think it was maybe easier to arrive at a point where I'm like, that's what I'm gonna say, because of just how like numb those negative voices or those second guessing thoughts were when I'm high. I do think like you hear music differently when you're high. I don't think the execution for me is as the follow through is not there.
100%.
Like if I could figure out a way, bro, to create, like come up with the idea. Like I tried to do this my entire life and I can't, you know what I'm saying? I've tried every which way. My goal was, I used to write in my book, like, here's how you make a song, man. You get high, you create it, then you sober up and you execute the creativity. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then you do that repeat. But like for me, somebody who's been in and out of recovery and like struggle with addiction, it's way more manageable to do it sober. And like, I thought that I wasn't going to get back to that like same confidence and trust in my ear sober, but I haven't. Also, like the follow throughs there. Like the hardest thing to do for me was finish songs. I could start a million. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I've had guitar riffs that
Yeah.
at one point, like, I had a riff since like something like, oh my God, dude, maybe like 2010.
Right.
And I just could not construct the right song together for it to fit.
Right.
And probably like 8 years later, out of nowhere,
Right.
I wasn't even playing. It just like came in my head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's it. It's
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Sometimes it takes
takes
time,
time,
but
yeah.
at the right time, things fall into place. But it's interesting what you said, and like, you know, obviously, yeah, I'm sober and stuff, and I'm not gonna like glorify and like condone drug use, but at the same time, like,
Yeah.
if it's for you, no problem. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Don't
tell
do
anyone
drugs.
how to live their life, right? just be responsible, you know, if you can. But like, it's interesting because if you look at like great bands, or like classic bands, you know, they're every band almost like, I don't know, from like the 60s, the 70s,
Yeah.
even up until now, they've gone through these phases where some of their best work, or most like mystical, interesting work,
Yeah.
was written while they were under the influence of
For sure.
something, right? Whether it be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Beatles, or I don't know, like, you
A
know,
lot of artists.
and
a lot
even
of
like
bands.
Bob Marley. I saw an
Yeah.
interview with Bob Marley, and he says, how I prepare, if I want to write a song and prepare myself, he said, I'll smoke a joint,
Yeah.
and I'll go sprint for like, I don't know, like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he does something energetically, and he put him in
Yeah.
a zone where
Yeah.
that was how he created.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's got their own, like,
Everyone's got their own thing.
their own methods, for sure.
What was your thing?
Dude,
Or did you
know
have
what?
a thing, or it changed?
I like to write. Back when I was like drinking and in rock bands, I just used
Yeah.
to write about just partying and just loving life, but
Yeah.
on like a party level.
Yeah.
And then there was like you said, like darker songs,
Yeah.
maybe like heartbreak songs and things like that, or, you know, about like connections, like breaking down deceptions, things like that. It's
Right.
whatever I was maybe like going through or dealing with. I use music as just a form of just like therapy, just to get you through whatever you're dealing with at any given time.
Dude, same. I'm grateful. Yeah, for sure, bro. I every heartbreak I've been through is music, and music's been fueled by that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where else to turn. Like drugs don't even fix the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Like the music does, and that's I'm like, I don't know if I would honestly, subconsciously, purposely get my heart broken to like create better music. It's just weird how that works. Like, I obviously don't do that, but I would say that looking at how my life has been, like the best music I've worked on is when, I would say the most passionate I've been about it is when I was in those moments in a certain genre, for sure. You know what I'm saying? The way it is now is like, it's more disciplined, I would say. Like I have to like rest on the page every day. I have to write every day, so that like, you know, when you take like, you know, when your ideas come in the shower, like you're taking a shower like every day, hopefully, right? You know what I'm saying? But it allows or you're driving or whatever. It's something you're doing every day. Like it allows your body, when you're doing it every day. I learned this from the book Artist's Way, which also saved my entire life. Taught me how to write every day, because when you're doing something every day, it allows your mind to relax, your body relax, and then you open up that part of you that's creative, that is like, you know, gets those ideas in, and you come up with the best ideas in the shower or whatever, because you do that every day, like business ideas, So if I'm on the page every day writing, eventually those ideas come to me right there when I'm writing.
Totally, dude. That's so interesting, actually, because like, I got given a copy of The Artist's Way, and I'll be honest,
please do it.
I haven't got super crazy into it, but I went through a phase
so
where
fire.
I was doing morning pages very briefly this year. And I liked it. To be honest, like, I'm someone that I like to get up and caffeinate and feel awake and alive. But there was like a period of time where I was hitting the morning pages, and dude, some of the stuff that was coming through on a crazy high spiritual level was just nuts. I'm like, something is speaking through me
so
right
fire.
now.
It's so fire, bro.
That's killer.
I love I really recommend to anybody out there, and to you, bro, do that book. It's like a 12-week workshop for anyone that doesn't know. And it's just like you do stuff every week. It's really simple. It takes like maybe an hour after you read the chapter. And then the morning pages are the hardest thing to do. Wake up, write 3 pages, and don't ever read them again. Just free flow. You can write like, I don't even want to be writing this. Blah, blah, blah. But what eventually starts happening, and what happened for me, was that I got comfortable being uncomfortable writing. I learned how to have that discipline. My writer's block was removed. And the other thing that happens is when you wake up, you first thing, at least I think about, is what I need to do, what I haven't done, and what I should have done last week. And so I'm writing it in my notebook every morning. Like, I gotta go get this car. I gotta go get my car service, or like I gotta go break up with, whatever. I gotta go do this. And like every day I was postponing it. It's like you're writing it down. You're reminded that you're not doing it, and you're just procrastinating. You know what I'm saying? You're procrastinating.
You wrote down about remembering to break up with such and such chick, so you didn't continue to be in the toxic relationship.
Right, exactly, bro. I would postpone it every day and be like, okay, today you need to do. You gotta do. Now try to make. But like, what the morning pages I've benefited most from is that if you're not doing something, you're writing it because you need to do it. You see it in the morning, and then each day, eventually you do it, and it clears up your life of the and then you're free even to flow into a creative state better. And that's why those things are powerful.
I read something somewhere, or I saw it. You're more likely to actually get something done if you see it in your own handwriting, or if you've written it down. It does something. It's like a connection type thing. But if you if you write something down, not just put a reminder in your phone, and then like it goes off and you just forget to do it. But if you write something down in your own handwriting, you're like something like 4 times more likely to actually execute, get it done,
makes sense,
take care of that errand, whatever.
There's
so
God in the pen.
I'm sure there's some truth to that.
Dude, for real. I really am grateful that that book exists. It saved my life.
Cool.
Dude.
That's awesome, dude. Because like I always ask people, like, are you currently like reading anything or listening to anything, like or are you inspired by anything? So that's cool. So you're working your way through like the artist's way.
I did it in 2018. I did it, and then I redid it a couple years ago. I only got to week 8 the second time. But I did the first. I did it. I had a therapist in 2018, and instead of like, I hated therapy. Instead of doing therapy sessions, we would meet for an hour every week and just read that chapter.
Oh, nice.
And then we would go and do like, it gives you like these assignments throughout the week to do, like take yourself on a date by yourself, go to a place, like notice all these different things that help unlock like this inner child vibe, I guess. And so I did that 12 weeks with him, and it changed my perspective. It changed me from like viewing myself as someone who makes music as a hobby to like actually being a professional. And then that changed like my creativity. It removed writer's block, and it just like helped me. I like learned that I like drawing, and I started drawing too. Like it helps. I like push that book as like the number one thing. If anyone asks me, like especially a creative that's like struggling in certain areas that I've related to, like the morning pages, like you said, bro, like when you're tapped into that, it's just like your life opens up. It is hard every single day to wake up and write 3 pages. It takes like 30 minutes. You don't want to do it, and it's like but that book I really like. And then I got this the Rick Rubin book someone just gave to me that I'm starting to read. I really like what he has to say. Every time he has like this a lot of the stuff that he has like advice wise, because he seems to have been in the studio with all these bands for so long.
Legendary like producer.
Legendary. He I think like from what I can tell is that he like really kind of just navigates the session in a creative way, and trusts his ear and his ideas, and like what he's saying, stuff like there's stuff that I've heard him say and read in this book that are just like, man, like I forgot, like that's what I need to do. Like, I'm trying to make these drums sound as good as this reference track that is made from this band that's like already torn, instead just make it the best sounding with what you have right there, because it'll be the best it is, I
saw a really cool clip on Instagram recently, and it's Rick Rubin saying, someone was asking him, how is it that you believe the music you like co-created became so notorious, and like so well liked? And he said, simple formula. We did not create it for an audience. We did not create it for people. We did not try to write something to make anyone else happy. We wrote like from a place of like realness and intuition.
Yeah.
And we just created everything
Yeah.
that we loved and we liked.
Yeah.
And by that, like it just worked. It wasn't about everybody else.
Right.
We just created from a place of truth, and it ended up becoming
Yeah.
a success. I've got goosebumps thinking about that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's like, it doesn't get more real than that and powerful.
It's I can tell you, anytime I've been in like the studio working and like I'm creating from a place like that, the music's better. Like it just translates better. And I'm trying to like, there's like a business professional side of it that like some songs like I've had to honor, right? And like those are always tougher, because when you have to make a song, or you're featuring on a song, and you're trying to make a hit song, and you're not creating it for yourself, you're creating it for an audience, or for,
It's probably hard to
it's
feel
harder
attached to it,
for
maybe.
sure. And it's also, I think it fucks up the, like when I'm creating, like for sure, like it takes a lot of more pressure off when I'm creating, when I'm making it just for myself, because I'm not worried, you know, I'm not thinking like, is this the right move? And sometimes I've been able to like work with people, and we've been like try to make a like hit country rap song, and it's happened in 15 minutes, and like that's like, I don't know how that I'll never forget times like that. But for the majority of the time, like if I'm not like locked in, like you said, to just creating what I think sounds good, trusting my intuition, like it doesn't translate, you know, it feels like you're trying to, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And the session doesn't go well either, because when you're creating for like to try and force it, it's just like you're not confident in the moves you're making, you know. And I just don't like creating that. I don't like making music like that anymore.
No, I can understand that, dude. I went through like a period where, because it was kind of like my band and I was the front man and main songwriter.
Yeah.
You know, I got into this routine of just being the one that like wrote all the stuff.
Right.
Wrote all the stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like, it wasn't even from like a control freak angle. It was just, I'm so sure in myself that this is how I want something played, and this is how I want something to sound. I didn't trust anyone else to do as good a job as I could. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not like the best musician. I'm not a shredder on guitar. I'm no like Slash. But from a rhythm perspective and a songwriter perspective, I always felt like I wrote like pretty decent stuff that was, you know, radio worthy. I just never had that break that some bands and artists get. But I was always confident that when I was going into a studio recording like my own stuff, that I was the right person to do it, and that I did not need many other people's input or anything. And again, not from stubbornness. It was just, I was so locked in. That I'm like, that's
trust
how I'm going
to
execute it. I did bring in friends, maybe for like backing vocals and do some cool stuff, or I might have brought someone in to do a guitar solo or some lead work. But other than that, I was always like so sure in myself, you know.
It's a great place to be.
And I don't think there's anything like wrong with that, because when you have like a vision as an artist, you know, it kind of might get to the kind of too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing, and then it ends up worse off than it was. So sometimes like keeping it simplistic, you know,
I totally feel you.
Yeah, gives it like more room to just like flow and be what it's meant to.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I've had every time, just music's been a learning experience. Like, you know, like with anything, the more you do it, the more you learn. And I just feel like I've had all the moments go south. I've had like working with other people. I've also had moments where I'm like willing to, it really happened after, again, I'm going to plug that book, Artist Way, is like allowing like something higher to come in and flow within, like, and I sometimes, like, even when I'm working with other artists, like, I just like, okay, I'm not gonna push here, even though I have this way. Like I've there's been beautiful moments that have come from allowing other people to add like to a song that I had in mind creatively. But I don't think that I think I always try something first, like how it, like you can tell me your idea and I can tell you my idea, but we should try it and see how it sounds both ways, and then take a ear break and then come back to it. I'm never gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah,
Because
I
you might
learned
be
that.
pleasantly surprised. And I've had
You
that
might be,
scenario. I've had scenarios
Totally.
where people have like tweaked my music and it's become too fast, too heavy. Like, no, let's strip it back. Let's keep it real. I've had times where I've almost been humbled because I thought I had something how I wanted it to sound. I've had a producer send me their idea of how they think it sounds, and I'm like, damn. And it sounded great, and I went with that version. And I think it's just sometimes about trial and error.
Totally.
You know, it's more so I think about connecting with like the right people and the right artists, not the right necessarily like format for the song or the composition. But when you connect with that right energy, it's like magic.
I agree.
I've had that with different like bandmates at times where you just have that click and you write some really great stuff. And obviously like, I've played in like bands where it just hasn't quite had that energy, and then it's hard to continue it because you don't get that like high, you know.
Dude, bands are tough, man. I respect you for how often you played in bands. I was always like a dream to have a band, and this year I put a band together, and the group of guys I'm locked in with, I couldn't ask for a better crew. Like,
but trying to schedule band practice around everyone's LA schedules.
It's always a pain. But I will say, like, it sucks because my guitarist, bro, he's moving out of LA. He's moving like New Jersey, and we had shows on. We were so like I know how lucky I was because I've been around people who have bands my entire life, and it's always like never worked out. There's always issues, scheduling, ego, creative. I'm telling you, like this band that I was able to put together like for this year, and like the show we did at the Venice West, all that stuff. Like I couldn't be more like lucky, like with how the flow was. Like these dudes came, believed in the songs that we were working on, like no ego, like I think a couple of guys are in the program, so they have like a really good connection to like the spiritual, their own version, like kind of let flow. I think that definitely contributed. Nice. And we had this like 22-year-old guitar player that just, I sent him the songs the night before because my main guitarist originally, he dropped out and wasn't showing up, whatever. I sent this kid the songs the night before the next rehearsal. He showed up, 11 songs, bro, and he's never heard before. He showed up to the rehearsal locked in. He had every song down. 22 years old. Like, no one's in the band's getting paid to rehearse. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's eager. He wanted to show up and be there. And I was just like, all right, man. Like, this kid is like, what a unreal blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Killer too. Yeah.
I was really happy about that. I was like, this kid's down. Anyway, he's moving, so.
Damn.
It sucks.
So, you know, that sucks. My biggest challenge in LA was, and I admit I was this person at one time. Everyone is looking for the next best thing or the next big gig, right? So I might have a great guitar player or a good bass player or a solid drummer. And then, you know, some touring opportunity comes up. They jump on it, and now you're a guitar player down or someone. So that was my biggest problem. And look, I can't blame them because I've been that person too at times.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It sucks that everyone's looking for that opportunity.
Yeah,
and
no one's trying to ride it. I feel you.
The minute it comes up. And it's not even a loyalty thing really, but
it's a very like LA thing, I guess. You know what I mean? Everyone's chasing the bag, bro. Like, I'm not lying. I am too. But that's one thing that's why I want to like show love to the guys in the band is like, they believe in the music. We're down to like ride it out, believe in the cause. And I know how rare that is. Like when you have other stuff going, especially in LA, like, and, I think it's different too. Like the genre is different too that we're doing. So it's like, no one's really doing, like punk Motown in a weird way. And like,
that's an interesting, like, hybrid genre right there.
Yeah. So I think that like that contributed a lot, and I just think, I don't know, man, like it was just always like a goal of mine, and I'm grateful for all that. But because I know bands is crazy, bro. It's so like,
isn't it? Like, well, even if you've got like a good bunch of level-headed guys, and I played in those bands too, like after I got sober and I was in a better place and making better music, it's then, you know, scheduling rehearsals, everyone's schedules and work schedules and stuff like that. It's nuts.
It's tough, dude. So
And then everyone's got, you know, some different stuff. Maybe one guy's married, having a kid, got to take some time off. Someone else, you know, doesn't want to promote the shows and stuff like that. And then that becomes a drag because you're putting in like 110%.
Right.
So, you know, there's so many different scenarios. But I wanted to ask you, I know you've been in the program and you've been working through like the 12-step program and stuff. How has that impacted, you know, like your life or your creativity or maybe your, I don't know, like connection to music, spirituality? Like, like, did you go into like AA or start the program while you were still like creating music? I'm assuming.
Like, did I go in and get sober while I was?
While being a creator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever stopped like being a creator, whether I was like homeless, broken up with, on like sleeping on my friend's couch. Like I was just always in front of the computer making music.
Yeah. Well, I guess one more question is, sorry to like interject.
No, you're good.
Like what motivated you
to get right
to walk in those doors? And you know, what was your moment like? I'm done. Or I need to get sober, kind of thing.
I had moved to. I was living with my ex and we were just in this toxic battle. Like I couldn't get clean and trust was broken, whatever. And we broke up and I was literally homeless, like bouncing around on couches. I was sleeping. I would go to the studio and sleep in the studio. I'd be there for like 3 days with my suitcases, bro. And I'd be bouncing around to friends and I'd go get high, you know what I'm saying? And there was this girl that was like, the relationship with like the conversation with her started as she was like a fan of the music and she was just like, she lived in Virginia and she was just like a fan of the music, like everything, supporting. And like she started like she like figured out through like a friend that she, like one of my friends in the music industry knew her from back home. He was in Virginia and she like started I was like, at this point I was like kicking dope and my girl and I weren't together and I was like choosing to be on the streets. Like I moved out, like I didn't want her. I just said, you stay, I'm out. Like I can't be around you. And I was just like on this path that had no like end to it. And I just remember like, she started sending me money to like live, you know what I'm saying? And I was in this really dark place and I was like, okay, like I'll take $250 for the next hour. I'll go get high with that. I'll go like eat, you know? So that went on for like 2 weeks. And then eventually I was like, I figured out she had like all these prescription pills in Virginia. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to continue my drug run. And so, you know, and looking at my life, I'm like, dude, like you're homeless, like you're bouncing around your friends' couches. Like you're not really doing anything musically. No one can even like have a follow through track with you. But I just remember like I eventually was like, I'm gonna go out to Virginia. She has real Oxycontin and all this, not all this fentanyl, you know. And so I hopped on a flight. She bought me a plane ticket. She like talked to my mom and was like, I'm gonna get him therapy. Like I'm gonna have him live in the basement, set up the studio, we'll start a record label, sole proprietorship. She was like gonna invest and be my manager. Like all this, bro. Like we drove a contract and I flew out, right? And I got there. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly. And I got there and I was like expecting it to like be something and it was completely different. Like I wasn't even hooking up with her. Like she tried, you know what I'm saying? But I kept it very respectful. Yeah. And I really went out there to like obviously continue getting high, but I was done with LA at the time. I was like, fuck AA, fuck LA, this my ex, like, all shit. And and I was out in Virginia and I was like there for like 2-3 weeks, like coming off of hard drugs. And I had this mushroom trip and, to her credit, she was like trying to get me healthy, like trying to get me to the gym. She wasn't like, I thought she was going to give me the pills. She wasn't giving me any pills, you know, like I was like, so I was like, I had to like have shipped out there. That was a bad look. And anyway, I'll wrap it up. But my time out there was like, I kind of had a mushroom trip out there and I had this, like, I threw the drugs away and I was like, dude, what am I doing in bum Virginia? Like trying to like pursue this goal. Like, bro, you need to go back to LA and get right. And like, I kind of like cleared up after that. And I reached out to my ex, to shout out to my ex, bro. She she picked me up from the airport, and shout out to my boy Damon Arnett, bro. He just got put back on the Houston Texans, man. He bought me a plane ticket to Texas. And I also never told this story, but I was supposed to go live with him in Texas, but I was like, I organized it. I got the opportunity to come back to LA and go straight into a sober living.
Dude, that's fortunate.
So I told him, I think my dad had some health problems, which was a complete lie. And I went to LA from Texas instead of going to see him. I was like, dude, my bad, I got to go to LA. So cause I didn't have the heart to tell him like, bro, like I'm actually going to go to LA and get sober. Which was the best move. And like, it's all good now. But, I came to LA, my ex picked me up from the airport, bro. And she paid for my first month in sober living for me, like in Venice, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, I was just like, my chips were down, bro. And I was like, I can't continue to do this anymore. Like, you know, and that was almost 2 years ago. Obviously she's my ex. I'm no longer with her, but I still have love for her and like ultimate respect for her. She was always there for me when I was down. You know what I'm saying?
It seems like she showed up where it counted at the right time.
Yeah, she was always there.
Even though there was issues, at least that maybe like, I don't know, one of like the last like actions or positive actions is that she helped you, you know, like take that step towards
for sure, man.
Sobriety.
She was always like that.
That's cool, dude. Because you know, no one has the perfect relationship, right? But I do believe everyone has the opportunity to redeem themselves, or kind of square away and smooth over a situation, regardless of how, you know, crazy things might have got. So I'm sure you can take like, you know, just some positivity out of the fact that that was like a scenario that she presented to you.
100%, bro. She was always there. And then I came, so she picked me up, dropped me off, paid for the first month, and then from there I took it from there, and then that was my journey. It was literally right over here, not far from here, and then I just like kind of dove 2 feet in, like not half stepping into like just hit the ground running, like try to like, bro, like you need to get everything together, and like you're gonna miss the window of the dream that you want to have, like, and you know, because it's just like time's not, you know, time is moving, you know. So I just like locked in with everything, like everything, sobriety, everything, physical, mental, spiritual. And like that year I had like nothing, bro, like no money, no car, no job, like I wasn't making money off music at the time. Like I like literally face tat, like blonde hair kid, can't, like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna figure it out? You know what I'm saying? And then I like, one thing led to another, and like time, like sobriety added up, connections, like helping other people, getting out of myself, like just, you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at.
That's why the universe, God, higher power, whatever people's beliefs are, that's why that put you in that position to strip certain things away. So all your time, energy, and focus could go into something that benefits you, you know, and like you putting in that work on yourself has allowed you to be a good guide and a good mentor to now, you know, help other people along that path too.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, like my life today it's crazy what, like I wouldn't trade it, man. Like I really think that where I struggled for so long in the past is like I just wasn't able to stay sober long enough to build a life that I wouldn't trade, that I would, you know what I'm saying, wouldn't trade for getting high. Today, bro, like I'm overpaid for sure, bro. Like the music shit is crazy. Like I help, you know, I was talking to you about the mentoring stuff with the kids is like really fulfilling work, and then like the clothing brand stuff, Dead Atlantic, like everything is like, man, like I fought my entire life to be able to sit at a table with speakers and a computer in my own space. Like that's all I ever wanted, bro. Like I just wanted to make music and have like my own place to make it, and not have to like be at my ex's, my girl's house, or have it be a sober living or a studio I paid for. Like I just fought to have like my own space, or not my parents' house, like none of that. Like my entire life I just want my own space to create and have it be something that I built for myself, and like have that freedom. And like it's like been such a relief to like finally get to that place and like be like tapped into like a community of people that like value, like I have responsibility for, and like people rely on me and I rely on other people, and I give, I don't take, you know what I'm saying? Like you kind of got to give water to get water, what I've learned. And the last thing I want to do when I'm all in my head is like help someone else. But dude, it's led to everything in my life, and it's led to me like feeling some form of relief from these demons that I've struggled with for however long that I thought been my ally, you know? But that's like my little last 2 years sobriety.
Dude, that's killer. And through, you know, obviously doing, I don't know, like detox or rehab or however you went about it, and going into like AA, working the program, that's led you to the opportunity of like helping other people and being like a sponsor for them. Is that what you're currently doing as well?
I have a couple sponsees in the program. I don't go to a meeting every day. Like I'm not super big book, Mr. I just like understand like what the main things that like I feel like we need to do in the program in order to survive as alcoholics or whatever. And I just like, you know, try to constantly think of others, be other centered, and do the next right action and be my best. I have sponsees, but I also like mentor people like one-on-one and like companion type stuff. And
that's killer, dude.
Yeah, and like that's more like on a business side for sure, but like you gotta have like, it's not service if it's convenient, you know what I'm saying? So I can't like get that mixed up with like what I was taught. Even like at this amount of time sober, it's like the longest I've ever had. It's easy to like put things in front of my sobriety in my program, like music, job, girl, whatever it is. I've just done that too many times. Like I feel like whatever I put in front of my program, I lose, you know, that's what they say, and that's happened to me, you know? So I just like, I don't like that I'm an alcoholic or an addict. I don't like that I have to be sober, but I love my life because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anyone like, you know, comes in on a new streak, bro. But I wish I didn't have to deal with this thing, but it's honestly like not a pain at all. And it's given me so much and made me feel so much.
I think, if you like step back and just analyze, okay, how was my life? How was I here compared to here? Yeah. And you like weigh them up, like obviously it's night and day, I would assume, in terms of like where you feel you're at in yourself, and all combined health, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. You know, at least like me, I'm like, no, I'm a way better person for being sober, because when I was like drunk and an addict, I thought I had morals and values. I never upheld them, because you just like, you don't even respect yourself that much. For sure. Now I'm in a place where like I'm not the perfect person. You know, I'm always doing, you know, little by little to better myself or learn new things and experience new things. But I can definitely say that I have a set of morals and values that I can more easily uphold now compared to previously, because I don't want to like dishonor this version of myself, and because I've genuinely like learned through mistakes, and unfortunately, man, that's just life. You just learn through mistakes and chaos, dude. But it's all about how you go about reacting, responding, and dealing with things, you know, now as compared to before, you know. Definitely,
bro. I wish I learned from people telling me, but no, I had to make the mistake, you know? And that's how I feel like it's been for me. And like, you know, like you said, that's life, you know?
That's cool, dude.
For sure.
Let me ask you this. This is one of the questions I got down here. What practices, rituals, or routine like do you uphold that makes the biggest difference in your day-to-day life? Anything in particular? Do you have like a routine or a ritual or anything you like to do that just makes you
morning routine? I mean, I wake up every day. I do the same thing. Like the first 10 minutes of my day, I don't look at my phone. I say the Serenity Prayer.
Oh, nice.
I say that right when I wake up. I make my bed every morning, and then I go for a walk like right away, or I'll write. If I'm locked in, I'll write some morning pages, but lately I haven't been writing as much in the morning. But my morning routine is the same. It's been the same this entire time. Like, wake up, say the prayer, make your bed, and then I walk around the block. I don't pick my phone up at any time until after I do that. And when I'm walking around the block, I'm thinking of like trying to center myself, have a good day. What do I need to do today? What's on the schedule?
Nice.
And like reviewing like how I felt about yesterday, or did I miss anything? And then like try to like come back in the house, have a good day, and like then I'll look at my phone and then coffee and but yeah, I would say that's been pretty consistent. Like routine was the question.
Oh, just if you have any like practices, rituals, like routine,
like some witchcraft. No,
if that's your thing.
I would say like, that morning routine is important. And then like just the music thing. Like I have to listen to music every day. I have to like figure out a way to create every day. Like at least an hour, but like more is if I have the time, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes hearing something, whether it be, I don't know, wisdom or music, it's that spark that can sometimes actually spark your creativity as well.
It's crazy, man. Like I know people who don't listen to music. Like I have people like, I have friends that don't like listen to music, not intentionally, but just it's not part of their day. And I'm just like, man, like how, like maybe they have something else, but like, music, like it just has like a control over my body. Like if that makes sense, I can't live without it. And I'm glad that I'm addicted to it. It's healthy, you know what I'm saying, in a weird way.
I still listen to music, but I've changed the way I've listened to music, and I've changed the way I let it influence me. Before, I was more fixated on the feel, obviously,
right,
and sometimes lyrical content. Because of course, like it's going to resonate with you in different ways. Yeah. Now, because a lot of the harder stuff I used to listen to doesn't quite hit the same. Yeah, for sure. I'm more in like a spiritual place, and I can like appreciate things like melodic handpan music, or
what's that?
Like there's this instrument. It's made out of literally like titanium. Okay. It looks like a mini UFO. Sick. But it's like a handpan, a harmonic handpan.
Oh yeah, I've seen
They're
that.
pretty sick.
That's made out of metal. I think I've seen like a wooden
alloy.
Oh yeah,
okay. Or something like
That's
that.
fire. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I've got one. Sometimes
you have one at the house.
It's really cool vibes, dude. It's cool. Next time we get together for a breathwork session, I'll bring it. For sure.
Yeah, dude, I'm down.
But
super down.
So I basically have gone from like listening to more like aggressive music to as I've mellowed out.
Right, the music's changed.
Yeah, the way things hit. I think that's normal. But the way it's like influencing me, I prefer to listen to instrumental music. Yeah, as opposed to the way lyrics can sometimes not warp your mind, but but
for sure
it can like
I get that.
Can affect you sometimes. So
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I relate. Dude, I relate. For sure.
I know throughout most of this conversation, music's been your thing and your main push. So tell us like a little bit about like yourself as an artist. Like what are you doing right now in terms of where you're at with your career?
Well, I would say like around 2021, I had some success in like kind of the leftover Lil Peep scene, like the emo rap scene. Mm-hmm. And I owe a lot of that to my boy Wet Brain, who kind of dragged me out of like this situation and got me sober. I didn't stay sober, but he like taught me how to like go to AA meetings and do whatever was necessary to like get through the day to get sober, and then we'd be in the studio like nonstop. Nice. And so like I that like kind of bubbled into like this little thing we had going in LA, and like man, 2022 was a great year. And like it just like kind of gave me like this like feeling of like I have a community that like I'm tapped in with musically, and like there's like people who are listening. Like I remember I couldn't get like 10 people to listen to my music. Now it's like millions of plays, and like it's all like a blessing. Like I don't have like billions of streams, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I have like millions of streams, man. And like that is crazy for me to think about.
Yeah.
Like just like that many people have listened to my song music, you know, but that era for like what I'm doing in music was more like kind of wrapped around like this unhealed version of myself, and like kind of promoting, like not promoting drugs, but like sharing about experiences between love, loss, drugs, like death, like, and that kind of like scene I don't think was super healthy for like me healing as a person.
Right.
And so now that I've healed as a person, like, you know, I mean, this year I've put together a band. We had a sold out show at Venice West, our first show. Like we've done shows, and it's like more of like kind of punk Motown. Like I had my dad play saxophone with us. Dude, at that cool. show. Like we had a horn section. My sister was singing backup. She's super dope. She DJs, and her name's BPM Baby. She DJs and like she's a great singer, like better singer than me. She should be the one doing music, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it was like this healing moment to like have a broken family, not broken, but like have a lot of family, like, and then
but then the music connected.
The music brought us together, so and we had this like, I have this video of my dad playing a saxophone solo on stage, like over this Motown punk song that I wrote with my sister. And,
so funny that earlier in this conversation you mentioned kind of like the communication, like everything in the family, but it sounds like music was maybe the healing aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
Fully connected and healed that fracture.
It definitely brought us together, and it was like one of the best moments, if not the best moment of my life so far.
Powerful, dude.
So yeah, I'm just doing that stuff, trying to get these like different songs out, and that in this kind of genre that's like punk Motown, like some like kind of ska stuff, rock, and like obviously there's rap always like the intertwined in there, because like that's just how like melodically I like operate. But yeah, I'm just doing that, and working on these songs so that we can get them out, and it's just like I'm really excited. That's
killer. I'm really intrigued. The whole punk Motown kind of fusion thing, because I've heard of like different styles coming together and like, you know, it working. I'm trying to even fathom, like those are two completely opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Energy wise, etc. So I think that's a super like unique, authentic way to experiment with those particular styles.
It's been cool. Like I feel like there's a couple songs on there that are like way different, like, and they're good, you know. Like I've had to make like 10 or 12, and like I feel like 2 of them, like we nailed it so far, you know. So I'm excited to get in the studio again. We were just in there last week. I'm gonna put those songs out with some visuals, and I'm always gonna drop like my solo stuff probably under the same name, because I just like also always will love making that type music. Cool. Emo raps, like it's something that's just like and fun
for people to find you on social media and stuff. Is it just on
just my name, Max Fanali, Fanali.
Perfect.
That's it.
And same if they want to check you out on Spotify.
Same name. Max Fanali.
Fantastic, dude. Let's do this, man. This has been a great like flowing conversation. I've loved learning a lot more about you.
Likewise.
Just like a message that you'd like to share and end with. Doesn't have to be, you know, super inspirational, but anything you just want to offer to anyone listening or watching this show. Just some final words and a message.
Dude, thank you for having me, bro. I really appreciate you doing this, and I think it's a great thing, and I appreciate, you know, asking me to come on and share my story and making it such a comfortable environment. And I would say, like, if I had anything to say as a message, I would just say trust your gut. 1, 2, 3, go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
Dude, that's cool. Because like in intuition, it's such a powerful thing, but we find a way to sometimes like overlook it, because we always leave that element of a room, like, oh well, what if I'm wrong? Don't
overthink. Go. Especially with creativity, man. But like, you know, you want the life you want, you gotta go get it.
Totally. It's interesting. And just to like feed on that a little bit, like I've gone through stages in life where I've talked myself out of things.
Dude,
because
me
if you
too.
dwell too long,
For
even
sure.
if your intuition is saying like, this is your moment, like go do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing, take that trip, you know, ask that chick out on a date or whatever the
Yeah,
scenario
yeah,
is, right?
exactly.
If you wait too long, the opportunity's lost, man. It's
Yeah.
gone. So I'm very good at acting on my intuition or speaking up.
Yeah.
But I'm with you, dude. Like it's a great message.
Yeah.
Is to don't talk yourself out of anything unless it's absolutely dumb. Like obviously, don't kill anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'll leave you with
Like-
this, bro. Take a risk or you lose the chance. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you. I have it. I'm only bringing up my phone, not because I'm disrespectful, but
No, you're good.
I'll read it for you.
Sure.
Take the leap, not because it's safe, but because your soul didn't come here to tiptoe. Massive risk is the down payment for a miraculous life. That's what I'll say. That's my screensaver. Remind me every day, like.
That's fire, dude.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's a good reminder.
Because I just don't want to do anything, and I hate myself. But it reminds me.
You feel like you have to have like an element of like fearlessness about you.
Absolutely, because I feel like I'm afraid to take the leap. Ask the girl. Ask for a feature. Ask for help with this. Ask for. I don't say the hardest thing for me to do is say I'm scared. I don't know. I need help, and that's like the biggest thing you can do. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny actually because you just reminded me of a situation that I had, and what the learning curve for me was: if you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
And the worst that someone can say is no.
Right,
And then
right.
okay, cool.
Right.
It is what it is. Redirection.
Boom.
And it reminded me of an opportunity when I was in one of my first touring bands, and I was using this like hair products that I just really liked. 'Cause
Yeah.
I had a longer hair, but I used to
Yeah.
kind of like spike it up a little bit too.
Yeah.
With these layers, right?
Sick.
And I found this company. And basically I just contacted them. I said, hey, I'm in a touring band. I'm happy to give you like promotion. I love your product, all of this.
Right.
And I emailed them, and instead of like me just expecting them to send me like just one little ball of hair wax or something,
Right.
they were like, oh yeah, we'd love to connect. This is back in the MySpace days,
Oh,
dude.
sick.
This is like MySpace days, right? And they said, yeah, here's our, like, they give me like a GIF of like their logo and all that. So yeah, if you want to just put it on your page and promote the brand a little bit, that'd be great. And they literally sent me probably like $300 worth of like, not just what I was kind of interested in using,
Right.
shampoos, conditioners, all the shit. My mum ended up using all of it, like for
That's
the most
great.
part, because I was on the road.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if it just, you know, it's an
Gotta
example
ask.
of if you don't ask, you're never gonna know, you're never gonna get. And even if it doesn't work out how you imagined, right?
Right.
You take that like rejection or whatever as redirection,
Right.
move on to the next thing.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly, bro.
Killer.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
Always good to
Dude.
connect with you.
Dude, for real. Likewise.
And yeah, guys, this has been Max Fanali. Check him out online. Go give his music a like. And thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of My Story Unveiled. Peace.
I'm out my mind, baby. Found a girl who loves herself, but she's still fucking crazy. And she says
I can never let you drive me crazy. Smoking pills till my hands get shaky. Dark light, up late, every night a tough day. Cold sweat, waking up, I never had enough faith. Hate, love, hate, demons in my blood.
Hey guys, if you liked this episode of My Story Unveiled, make sure to give us a like, give us a follow, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Peace.